And we're back. We're the Dudes of Horror. I'm Toots.
Damien.
And Wormboy, what's up, guys?
What's up? It's been a while, but we're back. Actually, today we're going to talk about one of our favorite movies / sequels to a franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors.
Yeah, we're not going to dream again, guys.
Yeah, not going to dream no more.
I'm drinking energy right now, so I don't fall asleep, by the way.
This is kind of like a big deal for horror fans. This is like one of the big ones, Dream Warriors.
We actually have the video playing in the background.
Yeah,
like
the Dream Warriors.
Yeah, it's such a great video. And other than the fact that it has Patricia Arquette and Robert Englund as their characters in the video.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things they don't do anymore. Where, you know, like nowadays, or maybe even in the 2000s, they'll have like snippets of the movie, you know,
but
or something like
acting.
Yeah, but not the actual like principal actors, you know.
Yeah.
In character,
yeah. Other than Addams Family.
Oh God! Don't
that Hammer video.
That shit up.
it's a. I think it's a crap song. I like it because of nostalgia value, but
maybe one.
But I love the video.
One day we can review the shitty songs of horror movies.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I don't really like.
Oh, you mean
the Addams Family Values? That's the one you're talking about.
No, the first Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, the MC Hammer one.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
Yeah, we'll cover that later.
But
anyway,
like back to Dream Warriors.
Yeah, back to Dream Warriors.
Yeah. This is an interesting segue, but
yeah. But yeah, this is one of our favorite movies, and I agree with Damien that it's very hard to decide which one we like better, whether the first one, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, or Dream Warriors.
Well, earlier I was telling Damien, like, yeah, it's kind of hard, but I think I would choose part one by very little, like by a hair.
Yeah,
because this one's awesome, but part one is, I guess to me, it's more. That's where it all started.
I can't decide, man.
But that's me, though. I mean, everybody's different. But Dream Warriors is fucking awesome.
I can never decide. Like, if I watch part one, I'm like, oh, this is such a classic, like, great
That's what I
movie.
think, too.
But then I'm like, but Dream, like I was just telling you, I'm like, the fucking Dream Warriors, man. But then if I watch Dream Warriors, I'm like, oh, no, this is the shit. Like, this one's better. But then I'm like, oh, man, but that first one. And then so I can't pick. I can never decide. Like,
yeah.
And that's rare for a sequel to compete with the first one like that.
Yeah, like, and like what we were talking about before we started recording, that the only way I can justify it is that I think part one is a great movie. It's a classic movie and a great introduction to this franchise, which at the time they didn't know it was going to be a franchise. They were like, oh, let's just make this horror movie.
Just want to make money.
Yeah, they just want to make money, tell this story. Wes Craven wanted to tell this story. But Dream Warriors is probably the best sequel to this franchise, like out of all of them.
No, it is. It's not probably. It is.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I do like, you know, Nightmare 2 and Dream Master, but Dream Warriors by far blows them out of the water.
Yeah, like drinking bourbon.
I don't care. I love that line.
Yeah,
I love that line.
Well, a brief synopsis of the. Did we do our intros? We did, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
The brief synopsis of Dream Warriors is that the last of the Elm Street children are now, like, they're all like in Weston Hills, like they're all in a psychiatric hospital, and they're attempting to treat them because none of the staff know about the nightmares that they're having, and Freddy has come back to try to kill the last of the Elm Street children, the children of the parents that burned him alive. So, and I don't know, man. Like the movie has like this real like haunting, like this real like haunting vibe to it. No, like what?
No, this song that came out. Sorry, I got interrupted by in my dreams.
Yeah, but But yeah, it's more Dawkins playing.
And
But
then they have Heather Langenkamp comes back, and now she's like a grad student, right, in psychology.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a grad
Right.
student, or at least graduated and getting into the field. But yeah, I think Worm Boy's getting distracted by the music.
Sorry. It's a good song.
It is.
But no, there's just so much about this movie. But I mean, it comes from the kills, the way it's written, the way they all get together with the main character to kind of fight Freddy. Of course, he doesn't know it, right? But then eventually he finds out, and I mean the kills. I mean, I remember one. I know where I might be getting ahead, but you know, with the syringes and the way he kills that girl,
Tara.
Oh, Terran, yeah.
overdoses, and then the way he forces the guy to jump off the roof.
Yeah.
That one was crazy.
Yeah,
That
the Philip kill.
Yeah,
That's the one when we were watching this like last week, I think.
yeah,
That's the kill that actually used that whole sequence where he's like Freddy's like puppeteering him with his like muscle fibers or something. Like,
yeah.
They look like
I-
they look like blood vessels.
That honestly like genuinely used to scare me when I was a kid. When I would watch Dream Warriors when I was a kid, and I think it had a lot to do with like the audio, the sounds at that moment, like that like like I
Yeah.
don't know, it used to freak me
And the
out.
fucked up thing was that when he went through to control him, like he went through the door that was supposed to be locked. Well, it was locked,
Yeah.
and that's how he got up to that other building to finally, fall.
Yeah, and even the imagery and the makeup effects,
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
for that particular scene especially, they were so great, especially at the time, because none of it's CG. It's
It's all practical.
yeah,
effects,
it's all practical, and with this movie, I one thing that I really like, other than the fact that the characters were very well written, you cared about the characters.
Oh hell yeah.
You cared about what happened to them. It's a good. It's a good. What's the word? It ties back to the original movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of connective tissue to the original,
Yeah.
Which I think this one should have been part 2.
and it's mainly with Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy's the main character, right?
And I've actually, you know what? I've actually thought that before. What you said, I was like,
What?
you can actually like watch part 1 and skip part
Part
2
two,
and
yeah.
go straight to part 3, and there's like a good amount of connective tissue. Like, and
Yeah.
John Saxon comes back
Yeah.
as her father. But I don't know, like,
Yeah, I think with this one, I also like the fact that everything that was happening in part 1, even though you didn't know these characters from Dream Warriors until Dream Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
but you can tell there was other stuff happening that they were so messed up from Freddy that even after a couple years later or a few years later, you see the aftermath of what was happening, even though they were
Yeah.
getting affected by it. So I like that. Now, in terms of part 3 being like a direct sequel to part 1, I think, in my opinion, I think having part 2 there kind of as a buffer, because I think if they would have had Heather Langenkamp come back right away, and then the Elm Street children right away, I think it would have been almost like having, one Batman movie and another one directly,
Mm-hmm.
right away, and having the audience not giving them a chance to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having part 2 there in a way was, as much as I like part 2, I think it was a good buffer. So
Yeah, and then again, they make part 3 even better because part 2 wasn't better.
yeah, and you
so
got
it gives them more incentive to make a better one the next time.
yeah, and you got to see old characters come back along with new characters, and the mishmash between the two. I think they just had great chemistry there.
Yeah.
and I like, you can feel that Wes Craven had his hand in writing, in the writing in this one, because it was actually written by him and Frank Darabont.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because I know in the first movie, Wes Craven like intentionally wanted to touch on like, because the target audience is teenagers,
Yeah,
Mhm.
of course.
and he wanted to touch on. And I've seen it in interviews with Wes Craven. He wanted to touch on the fact that in the 80s, it was like the baby boomer generation, and it was the first time that there were many single parent households, and a lot of teenagers in the 80s were growing up in single parent households, and they always felt like they had to go through a lot of things that, you know, everyone has to go through growing up, but they had to like face it by themselves. They didn't really have a strong like parental foundation.
Yeah.
And if you're paying attention to it, it's not very subtle. Like, especially with the in Dream Warriors, it's mainly Patricia Arquette's character Kristen.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to make that a point in the movie, like, and even if teenagers didn't notice it, like on a conscious level, that draws them to watch these movies.
Yeah, because it connects with them.
And
It's
Freddy,
not just the horror movie; it connects directly to the issues happening at the time.
And Freddy almost becomes like a metaphor for all the terrors and things that they're having to go through alone. Because, like, before this generation, it was like you were shunned upon if you got divorced. Like, many couples, like married couples, no matter how dysfunctional, did not get divorced.
Yeah, like stay together for the kids and kind of
And
stuff.
this was the first generation where there were many. I mean, I myself, I grew up in a divorced household, like in a broken home, so I can somewhat relate to that. And I just think I think it just gives the movie more substance. Like,
Yeah, like the writing itself, the way they presented it, the acting is good, like the music is good, like
The effects.
everything is pretty good, like, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it that movie that, yeah, it has its flaws, but there's not very many.
Yeah, I think like, for instance, a couple of effects, you know, like they're dated by today's standards, and I know
Of course,
kids nowadays, that looks fake,
it looks fake.
you know.
Yeah.
But the stuff
Yeah,
like with
but
the
when we were growing up, that was like, oh shit, this is something new, nobody's tried.
yeah, and
but the
But,
fact
like-
that there's a deeper substance to it, it's still
Yeah.
relatable.
yeah,
Like,
it's not just all flash and blood and guts. You know, it's actually, you know,
Yeah, because you get like, I got invested with the characters. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't want them to die. You know, I want them to kill him. Even though I kind of wanted Freddy to kind of win sometimes,
yeah,
because I've seen the other ones. But then I was like, no, you know what? He deserves a good ass kicking.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And I think Frank Darabont's involvement helped the script quite a bit, because he knows how to write. Like, he knows how to write characters, and he knows how to write a good story, even if it's something based on something else, like Shawshank Redemption, the remake of The Blob. I think he did Green Mile also.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He directed.
Yeah. So no,
And
you're getting
and
you're
The
getting
Walking
distracted.
Dead.
And The
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. So he knows how to make characters relatable, and situations
And then
believable.
Wes Craven. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So them two. I mean, that tells you a lot about the movie
hmm
already before you even see it.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember watching this as a kid, and Damien, you're right that the Philip kill creeped me out.
Why?
Like, just seeing the fact that you could see like the veins come out, and he was using them to puppeteer.
And the stop motion thing where his little puppet that he made turns in, like, Freddy becomes the little puppet.
Oh, the stop
and,
motion puppet. Yeah, that was creepy.
And another thing I liked about the movie is the fact that they introduced Freddy's mother, Sister Mary Helena.
yeah,
like, in
I was thinking about that right now.
Yeah, like it gave him more of a mythos to
And
this
it's
character.
it's like a really dark, like, origins for Freddy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's been through hell. It's like, you know, literally and figuratively.
yeah. I like how in this one they kind of touched on that, where you kind of hear his backstory, and then of course in a couple of the subsequent sequels, like, it gets more into that, especially with Dream Child and, like, you know, New Nightmare. Well, not New Nightmare. Freddy's Dead, but especially Dream Child. But anyway, like, we'll get to that one later.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, the whole background is Freddy's mother was a nun that worked at the hospital, with
Yeah.
the hospital that eventually becomes the Weston Hills, where the Elm Street kids are being held in the movie. And what was it? Over the holidays, she accidentally got locked in a wing of the hospital.
Yeah.
With like 100 maniacs, and that's where the big phrase comes from. That Freddy's the bastard child of 100 maniacs.
Yeah.
That she was raped repeatedly in there, and then she gave birth to Freddy. Like, I mean,
And they burned him.
that's just a really dark, like, origin story for Freddy.
Yeah.
Like,
You can only imagine why he does what he does, you know?
and,
Yeah.
and the Amanda Kruger character is literally haunting, because you find out at the end of the movie that she's actually a ghost,
Yeah.
like, that was trying to help the doctor. The doctor that's actually a good character, which is another rare thing in the Nightmare franchise, is an adult that's genuinely trying to help the kids.
Yeah. Well, at first he doesn't really believe him, but then after a while,
But he still had like an open mind.
he's like, you know
To
what?
it.
I'm gonna do what I can to help him.
Like, eventually, like, by the end of the movie, he's like full on a member of the Scooby Gang, like,
Yeah.
like trying to help save the kids from Freddy. Like, well, it's because he experiences the dreams himself with them, so he knows it's real.
Yeah, and then he knows how it feels too. Imagine all these. Then I would be like, imagine all these kids, all this time they've been going through this almost every single day.
Yeah, and another thing that was a nice touch to the characters is the fact that they all had their own powers when
Yeah.
they're in their dreams. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
Hence the name Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one I couldn't help but laugh. And it reminds me of you, Toots. You probably already know.
Which
The kid, the nerd with the Dungeons and Dragons kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
vibe. You know, he can create stuff.
yeah, he's there's
I forgot his name.
I think was it Bill?
Yeah, Bill.
Oh, I could just look it up.
Bill. Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, he
Let's call him Bill, guys. But he pretty much like, oh, I can make a butterfly come out or a dragon or something like that. I was like, oh, that's Toots.
Will.
Will. Okay, I was close.
Yeah, Bill. Will. Same difference.
But yeah, this character Will, he in the real world he
He's a nobody.
yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. No, he plays a Dungeons and Dragons like game. You know, you got to roll and you have, you develop your character and crap. I'm not gonna get into the rules, but
Yes, please
basically, yeah. But his backstory is that he was tired of all the nightmares. That he tried to commit suicide, but he survived, but ended up getting paralyzed. But in the dream world, he's able
not
to walk.
paralyzed.
Yeah, he's able to walk, and he has these powers, his wizard master powers. And now Warm Boy's distracted me. No, he has these powers, and I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and just watching the character of my inner nerd came out, and I was like, that's not how you roleplay a wizard. Until Damien had to put a stop to it and said, shut up. He just told me to shut up.
Yeah, and that,
in no uncertain terms.
But I think the standout amongst the last of the Elm Street kids is Kristen, the Patricia Arquette character, and I think she has the coolest dream power of all of them, is that she can pull them all into her dream,
yeah.
so they can actually work as a team in the dream world.
Yeah.
Like, and then we have to mention like Kincaid.
Oh yeah, Kincaid was awesome.
I knew you were gonna. I know you were gonna mention him, Toots.
Oh yeah, he has one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Which one?
Like, let's kick this motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland. Like, I love that line. That one, and I said, where's the fucking bourbon? Like, I love those two lines. Those are my favorite lines in the movie.
You don't like the other one? Welcome to Hollywood, bitch.
Oh no, that one's a classic line.
Prime time.
Oh
bitch.
yeah, that one.
Which
Yeah.
was actually ad-libbed by Robert Englund.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He just made that up like on the whim, like on the spot.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that line too. But those other two are my favorite.
But all like this in Dream Warriors, it's like all of the teenagers have somewhat of an arc in the movie, and they have, like you guys were saying earlier, like there's good writing in this movie, like
Oh yeah.
because in the sequels beyond this that starts to be like they're more like
Making money.
cookie
Yeah.
cutter teenagers that you just want to see killed. Like,
Yeah.
and this one, like they all like Taryn's a recovering drug addict. You know,
So you kind of
like,
can like.
You can sympathize.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can
And
relate
or
more to them.
empathize. Yeah. Yeah, that like once it gets into part 4 and the other sequels, I thought Freddy's Dead did a better job, but once it gets beyond Dream Warriors, that's where it kind of goes into the Friday the 13th kind of thing where it's like, okay, let's just create these characters just so they can have sex and they die.
yeah, that's,
pretty
that's what I
much.
mean. Like they're
Yeah.
just more cookie cutter slasher teenager characters.
Yeah.
They're just like targets for the slasher, like. But in this movie, you care more about them, like. And I think it's really cool that Nancy comes back and she like went on to like study psychology and dreams in particular. She says, right, like.
Hmm. Yeah.
And this is actually the first movie in the franchise where the Hypnosil drug is brought up.
Hmm.
Like where she's trying to get the Hypnosil drug prescribed to the
Prescribed.
kids, and she's already taking it to suppress her dreams.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like one of the main struggles in the movie.
Yeah, and with this, yeah, sorry, one of the cats got onto the table. What's the matter, Ash? But yeah, with Dream Warriors, unlike the other sequels, at least the Freddy kills, had to do something with the character themselves, either from usually their past or something they like, and they kind of did that with part 4 and part 5, but they just were more cartoonish in terms of
They're
the deaths.
way overblown and over
Yeah,
the top.
yeah, way overblown. But with these, it was like, Taryn was a drug addict, so the way she dies was an overdose.
And all of
Yeah.
Freddy's fingers become like the syringes.
Yeah.
Like that was, and then the Will character with that badass like heavy metal wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a great wheelchair to own.
Yeah.
And then Philip, of course, because he's the sleepwalking character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's like sleepwalks to his death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible, man.
And then I love the Joey character, the character that
Doesn't talk?
Yeah, his reaction to his way of reacting to his trauma is like they mentioned that he used to be like this great debater in school,
Mhm.
like he was on the debate team or something. So he was like his strength was talking, like, and now he's like become like a mute
Yeah.
by choice, and his weakness is basically tits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the way Freddy draws him in is like, oh, I'll have the nurse that Joey's always checking out like strip naked in front of him.
Yep.
Ash, he
So,
behaved.
what would you guys grade this movie if you had to? Out of 10.
Are we doing the grading thing or just like?
Well, we don't have to, but I mean, do you guys want?
Huh? No. I
Because
mean,
it's-
the grading or like the number system.
Oh, the number. Sorry, or it's grading.
Or how we usually do
cares?
it.
how we
Yeah,
usually
who
do
cares?
it,
Who
Yeah,
cares?
who cares? I would give it an A plus because it has the characters you're invested. The story is good. Everything else, like the music, the practical effects, everything that ties in together and also relates to part 1, which is there's very little. Like, I don't even think we mentioned any bad things, right?
No, the only thing I
mean-
mentioned was that a couple of the effects are
Yeah,
dated, but that's
It's
understandable.
expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to give it an A plus because Ash. Remember, guys, Ash, he's part of the group now.
Yeah.
I have to give it an A plus just because of that, and it's a movie you want to see again. It's not one you just remember. It's
Yeah.
something you want to see over and over again.
Yeah, and
Something to show your kids, pretty much.
yeah, I would give this movie an A, and I also like the mythos behind how to kill Freddy in this one, or at least eradicate him, by having to find his bones and give him a proper burial.
Yeah.
which they do in the junkyard.
It kind of brings religion into it that Wes Craven wanted to do again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I know Wes Craven said that it got biblical in the writing of Freddy Krueger that the sins of the parents are like bestowed upon the children.
Mm-hmm.
Like Freddy comes back to take his revenge on the children for what happened.
Yeah.
And I love how they bring John Saxon back, and he's like a drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like not a sheriff anymore. He's like a security guard.
Yeah.
But I like how like the Dr. Gordon character and John Saxon are battling Freddy like in the real world, and it's like happening like simultaneously with the Elm Street children battling Freddy in the dream world.
Yeah.
Like that's the big finale of the movie.
Yeah, I like that parallel, and
And he actually Dr. Gordon. It ends up him like throwing holy water on Freddy's bones
Mhm.
to defeat the monster. Like it's very like it's bringing religion into it.
yeah, and this movie was probably the impetus for the Nightmare on Elm Street video game for Nintendo, way
Oh.
back when, because
That's an old video game.
because in the video game you had to find Freddy's bones, you had to collect them all. I forgot what you did with them at the end.
Pokemon.
I just know they had to collect all the bones, and of course in the game they looked like that, that stereotypical looking like dog bone kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you had to collect them all, like Pokemon.
Yeah. Gotta catch them all, guys.
Yeah, gotta catch all the bones. But yeah, I give it an A.
What about you, Damon?
I don't know. I think I would have. I was like between an A and an A plus, but I have to give Dream Warriors an A plus. Like it has the Dokken music that like you feel the
Oh yeah,
you feel that mid '80s vibe, like the hair metal, and
Drugs, alcohol.
I don't know. It's well written. Like I don't know. I give it an A plus. Like if you're a horror fan, if you're a slasher fan, like it's just like it's mandatory.
you gotta check out the movie. We recommend you check out the movie as soon as possible. But you gotta check out the Dokken video,
Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Those two things are awesome, but also try to watch it when you're like falling asleep too. But try to stay awake. That's the best way to watch it. You know, try it.
Just so you don't fall asleep.
Yeah, so you can get the whole gist of the movie and drink coffee. If
And
you-
plus, you don't want to fall asleep. 'Cause
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our review of, and at some point, that's our review of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors. But we are a podcast, and we are a channel about horror movies. So eventually, I would like to review this entire franchise.
Yeah, I want to do. Well, I don't know what you guys think. I want to do the other one, the part one.
Part one. Yeah.
Like whenever we come back to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Like part
and,
one for sure.
Yeah, part one for sure.
And at some point, I think we gotta roast part 5. And
What's the name of that one?
The
Dream
Dream Child.
Child.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. It's
remember.
it's laughably bad. I still enjoy it, but for the wrong reasons.
And just before I guess we close, Damon told me today we reached 60 subscribers. So thanks guys for subscribing.
Yeah.
Let your friends know. I think we're gonna reach a 2-year mark now. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Yeah. We're gonna reach
when
2
is
years.
it, in May or I forgot when. Right?
I'm not sure.
But we're getting there, and we're at 60 subscribers. Yay!
Yeah.
After 2 long years. But hey, that's how you start, right?
Yeah. We all gotta start somewhere.
We
Yeah.
celebrated hitting 60 subscribers with Dream Warriors.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
a big accomplishment.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, it's cool. Like, it's a good point by Wormboy. Like, sincerely, like, thank you to everybody that actually subscribed to our
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for the support.
And also, like, it always reminds me of Supermodel Music
That
Man.
was-
because
Yeah.
He stole it from me. I
he's
was
still
gonna say.
there. Like, yeah.
Thank you to the people that actually reached out to us and like asked us to review their material, their horror movie, their short films and stuff.
Mhm.
Brent
Brent and
Curry,
Lauren.
Yeah.
Brent and Lauren, Supermodel Music Man, Like I always say, our German connection.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to see more of his stuff. But I mean, we'll when we get there, we'll probably review it, of
Yeah.
course, with his permission.
Yeah.
So I guess we're the dudes of heart. I'm Wormboy.
I'm Toots.
And Damien.
Catch you guys on the flip side.
See ya.